Very good question. So if we pass the FairTax bill in Congress, we'd have capital flowing into the United States. Imagine no tax on capital gains and dividends. All the investors around the world would be parking their money in the United States. Senator DeMint, who was a FairTax sponsor, said the FairTax would make America the best place in the world to do business. So that would clearly happen. And in addition to that, our exports would go through the roof. So right now, the average cost of a good or service produced in America is 15 to 25% higher because of the tax costs that are built in. So in other words, the taxes that corporations pay increase the cost of producing that good or service. So if we take those tax costs out completely on exports, our exported goods will be a lot less expensive, and so more of those goods will be shipped overseas. They'll be able to afford them, and that will lead to a boom in American manufacturing. Yes, sir.
Another question. On administration of the freebie that you're talking about, has anybody ran an estimate of what that cost would be to do that?
The actual dollar amount depends on the amount of economic activity, but it's built into the sales tax cost.
Yeah, I understand. But in other words, if you're going to say everybody in the room a check every month or a credit, what will be the administration cost of doing that? Does anybody know?
That's minimal. I know studies have been done. It's less than it's a fraction of a percent. It's equivalent to us signing people up for EBT. The administrative cost is very, very low, and it could be implemented very, very quickly with the IT capability that we have right now. By the way, the states would be the collection agent at the retail level. There will be no more IRS. It eliminates the IRS. So that's a powerful tool. What you need to know about Obamacare, in addition to those new taxes that I told you about, is the enforcement mechanism is the IRS.
16,000
new agents that are going to be there to check to make sure you're carrying the correct health insurance.
A lot of return.
A lot more audits are going to happen, and what they'll be able to do, they can look to see if you have health insurance, and then once they've opened that file, they can check anything else they want. So,
yeah, the health care bill is what, 13, 14 inches thick. Once everything is implemented on Obamacare, when it comes through 2020, it'll take 3 box cars to hold 1 copy of the entire amount of legislation and enforcement that's going to be put on American people.
a lot of the rules haven't been written.
3 box cars.
So once again, no IRS means no Obamacare. So that's something that you need to be able to tell your congressman. Yes, sir.
How much do they estimate they're going to make if we had the fair tax from organized crime that right now aren't paying any taxes?
Actually, there was a study that goes back a decade that said the underground economy was about $1.5 trillion. So now it's probably a lot larger than that. So yes, there's a lot of revenue that will be realized through people that buy retail goods and services but aren't paying any income tax. They're very,
Just
very
go down
good
to the #1 flea market when you leave here today, and you'll see it thriving.
A lot of underground activity.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
They have to have it. If they go around and they don't see one, they're going to be in trouble. Unless you're an ordinary little citizen, like if I decide to go sell a few of mine.
The Department of Revenue does check down there, because I got a kid that works for me that sells down there, and you're allowed to sell 1 time a quarter. And if they catch you one once a quarter, they rack you up.
And they do have agents that go down there. I know that.
But I've never received a receipt or a sales tax, or anything with
Sometimes
sales
they're
tax.
included, the price is included in the sales.
Yeah, I think everybody pays tax. Most people pay cash, yeah.
Didn't mean to distract you.
But that's a good point. You do capture money from the underground economy. And the compliance rate under the fair tax is going to be 90% better than it is under the income tax. There's a category, and you probably know the term for this. It's the tax gap, which is the amount of money collected versus the amount of money owed, is over $500 billion a year. Another number to throw out there is the compliance cost in our income taxes about $450 billion a year. So that's the cost of keeping records, filling out your forms, hiring accountants, and so on. It's money that is taken out of the economy. It's not
Excuse
used
me, I have
productively.
to earn a living.
That's right. Well, we want you to earn a living.
Well,
And you'll
I'm
earn-
just messing with you. I am all for fair tax.
But the thing of it is, if we had a fair tax, you could do so much more to help your businesses in other areas.
That's
You
exactly
could
right.
counsel them, so you could be a good counselor and so forth. They can improve this, they can improve that, the money they're hanging on.
The thing is,
do that
if
already.
you do your own
But that's what you
taxes,
should
why
do.
you want to risk the IRS coming out? So I'd rather pay Wilma than just say, you can't understand the code yourself.
So let's just go over 3 big reasons why we need a fair tax. Number 1, no IRS means no Obamacare. Number 2, it's going to cause the economy to grow much more rapidly. And number 3, it's going to put us more in control of our own tax burden and our standard of living. We're not going to be at the whim of what the federal government wants to do today. So the class warfare game goes out the window as well. If they're going to raise taxes in the fair tax system, it's going to go up on everybody, not just on the evil 1% that they like to demonize. So those are all key points to bring up. Now, the bill in Congress was just filed in the Senate. It's now Bill S-122. It's not on the sheet that I gave you. So the Senate Federal Fair Tax Bill is S-122. And we had 7 co-sponsors when the bill first came out. Senator Scott was a fair tax co-sponsor when he was a member of the House. As of today, he is not a fair tax co-sponsor in the Senate. So I would encourage all of you, if you support this legislation, I'm going to give you a switchboard number where you can reach any member of Congress. Please write this down. I don't know if I included this on your sheet. It's area code 202-224-3121. Area code 202-224-3121. Ask for Senator Scott and just remind him that he was a fair tax co-sponsor in the House. Senator DeMint was a fair tax co-sponsor, and that we would like him to add his name to the list of co-sponsors for Bill S-122. Yes, sir.
How many senators do you have?
How many nationally? It's 8. The lead sponsor is Saxby Chambliss from Georgia, and both of Texas, new Senator Ted Cruz signed on. Both of the Texas senators, both of the Georgia senators, and both of the Oklahoma senators are on board. Senator DeMint was, we want Senator Scott. Senator Graham is a little bit elusive on this issue. He says, yes, I support tax reform, but he won't get specific on what kind of tax reform he supports. Encourage him to support it. I don't think he'll see the light until he has a primary opponent for 2014. We'll see.
Phone numbers will be included in the video.
All of the members of Congress can be reached at
No,
202.
Joe Wilson, is he, he's not.
He is not a co-sponsor. Let me just, I don't want to,
No, don't worry about it. It's
Right.
been
I'll go ahead and tell you, he was a co-sponsor in 2004.
2004.
And some people got scared off by an ad that Inez Tenenbaum ran in 2004 against Jim DeMint. She was standing in front of a cash register, and she says, Jim DeMint wants the price of everything you buy to go up by 23%. And unfortunately, at that time, we did not have a state fair tax organization. Our national group didn't get in and support him, and he didn't have the wherewithal to fight back. So the answer is the price of things will not go up by 23% because those businesses aren't paying the income tax. So the cost of the goods and services goes down, and the tax costs, the sales tax, will be a slight increase in cost, but you've got more take-home pay to buy it. So that was unfortunate. That scared Congressman Wilson off of the bill. I've talked to him about it personally. He's still concerned that if somebody ran against him today and he was a supporter, that he wouldn't be able to fight back against the attack ad. My answer to him is we have a state organization. We'll hold press conferences, we'll run commercials, and we'll attack somebody that didn't tell the truth about the fair tax plan. So I encourage you to call Congressman Wilson, ask him to get on board. We've got Congressman Jeff Duncan in the 3rd District who's a supporter. Congressman Scott was a supporter, and we expect he will be in the House. And we have a great opportunity in the 1st Congressional District, which goes from Charleston down to Beaufort County, because we have 16 Republicans running for that open seat. And we have, including former Governor Mark Sanford, and we've got 3 Democrats, one of whom supports the fair tax. So,
What's the number of the House
Benjamin
bill?
Frazier.
You know the number of the House bill?
The House bill is H.R. 25. Thank you. H.R. 25 is the House fair tax bill. But Freedom Works is putting on a big candidate forum on February 16th. And we'll have a chance to ask all those candidates, where do you stand on the fair tax? If you don't support it, why not?